Yeah.
We'll get it,
Let's get it
because
going.
we just don't know. Good evening. Today it is April the 17th at 7:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that affect the families of Fenton Township. Continue to remind us that all we do here today, that all we accomplish, is for the pursuit of greater glory to you and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
I was called.
Roll call, please.
Lorraine,
Present.
Shoemaker, present. Mathis,
Here.
Krug is present. Kessler,
Here.
Gopel,
Here.
Tucker is absent. You have 6 members present.
Okay. To the members of tonight's audience, this program is televised. We have 3 cameras here in this room. If you'd like to speak a public comment, you can go up there and give your name. You don't have to give your address, and it'll be recorded. You will see this on channel 191 on Charter Communication. It'll start on Wednesday of this week and go on for 2 weeks. Presentation. Are there any questions for the amendments to the agenda? Do we have any amendments to this agenda? All right, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. I should have said opposed. Motion is carried. Presentation. In the audience, we have Beverly Vandra from the city of Linden, and she would like to speak on National Night Out event. And Beverly is the treasurer of city of Linden, right?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'd like to let everybody know that on August 1st of 2017, we're going to be having an event over at the Hyatt Elementary School in Linden. And I'm hoping that Fenton Township here will participate, especially since I already have you guys on my flyer. So I don't want to really have to take you off. But anyway, it's going to be for the city of Fenton, the city of Linden, Argentine Township, and Fenton Township. And what it's going to be is it's going to be an event to show our appreciation to all of our firefighters, our policemen, and our EMS drivers in the 4 different municipalities. A year ago, August 1st, I was watching the 11 o'clock news, Channel 12, and they were doing one of these events somewhere, I guess, up in Flint. And the next day I went in and I said to my city manager and the police chief, I said, I think this is a really good idea. And they're like, okay, go for it. So here I am. What we would like it's going to be August 1st, which is the night that they do for the national. We're part of the national group. They always do it on the first Tuesday of every year. It's going to be a very short event. It's going to be only from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, so it's not a couple day event or anything like that. I hope to have 2,500 to 3,000 people there. I want to have as many fire trucks, as many police cars, as many firefighters and people. And your chief has already been to one of our very active meetings that we've had. We have monthly meetings to hopefully make this event grow. We're going to have, it's going to be a free event for everybody. We're going to have hot dogs, chips, and desserts. We're going to have bounce houses. We're going to have a DJ there, Bill from the Young's Environmental. We're going to have the smokehouse for the kids. Brian over at my fire chief over in Linden, he's able to get us the firehouse, I believe from the people over in Holly or Oakland County. I'm hoping to have Sparky the dog, as long as it's not too hot for him and he doesn't pass out on us, especially with it being August 1st. We're going to have what they call a community art canvas, and I have a gentleman that's going to be drawing some type of a decor on a canvas that when the kids get there, they'll be able to color it, and participate in it to come up with a very large banner for us that maybe we can share with the different municipalities over the, a couple months here and a couple months there to hang up. From what I understand, I have not seen anything this gentleman's done, but Linda over at Genesis Bank, she was the one that contacted me with them, and he's very excited for our event. And he'll have all of the equipment and everything there, and the kids will just be able to go up and color whatever part of the canvas that they'll want to. I've also, we've gotten the freeze frame photo lounge, and it's going to be it's basically like a photo booth where the kids can go in and get their pictures taken with the firefighters or the policemen, or, just like a fun, it's kind of like the ones that you see in the malls that you can get your picture taken. Again, it's all free. There won't be any cost to any of the visitors that we're going to have. We're also going to have a vision booth for the kids. What we're going to do is have, it's part of the Lions group. They'll be able to basically take a picture of the kids and see with that photo if there's any problem that they're having with their vision to kind of help the parents. It's a very fast, quick thing that they've offered to do for us. So they're going to be there. We're hoping to get a dunk tape, and your police chief volunteered to be in it, right? Isn't that what I thought we decided?
No, it would be the Linden.
No, I thought it was you. No, he told me it was you. But anyway, we won't go there right now. So.
She almost got you right.
We can get him there.
He was a large part of that conversation, you guys, just so you know.
We could add that to the agenda.
There you go. Also, what we're going to have is Miss Laura from the Q Project. I'm sure you heard about the event from a year ago. When I spoke with her about it, she was very excited to participate with us. She's going to have a small table there with activities for the kids. She's also going to be handing out smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors to anybody who doesn't have them. Again, it's all free to them. I'm going to be doing advertising on placemats in the restaurants. That's going to be free for us. I'm hoping to put flyers in all of the businesses, posters on all of the windows. I'm hoping to put inserts in all of church bulletins, any other place that I can think of to get the advertisement out. We're going to start advertising big time on July 1st and just start flooding the 4 municipalities with it. I'm hoping to have get the newspapers there, the TV stations, the radios. We're going to be doing advertising in the newspapers and on MLive and that type of stuff as well. I'd like for all of you guys to participate with us. We're asking that all councils of all 4 different municipalities be there for us. I do have some governmental officials coming as well, or they're saying they have it on their calendar to come. I like for everybody to invite their family, friends, and enemies and tell them to come out for a good time for an evening. It's a very short event, but there's going to be a lot of activity going on. We're also hoping to get a petting zoo as well to come. I'm having a little bit of issue with that right now. I thought I had one and I don't, so I'm still working on that. And that'd be fun to come watch your fire chief be dunked in a dunk tank.
Yes.
Or anybody else that wants to do it.
You know what would be a big draw?
Yes, sir.
If a reporter from the Tri-County was in the dunk tank.
Well, that could be too. I might be able to find somebody. You never know. So, but again, we're gonna put the big push on July 1st. I'm gonna get everything printed between now and then. Mm-hmm. And if anybody knows of any groups in the area that they think that might be willing to help with volunteers or helping hang up posters or flyers or anything like that, my name and email address is on the bottom of the one advertisement. Please give it to them. I'm not too sure what kind of community groups you have over here. Over in Linden, I've talked to every one we have, VFW, American Legion, you name it. I've talked to them all over there. So they're all very excited, and I'm trying to get out more into the other areas. But I really would like you guys to participate with us. So it's going to be a huge event. We're going to see how it goes. So.
Okay.
If anybody has any suggestions along the way, if they think of anything, certainly shoot me an email. I'm open for suggestions. We're always
Looks like
looking
you've
for
got quite a
something
bit
new.
going on. It's going to be nice.
Well, yes, I'm hoping so.
Does Linden have the Linden Happening this year? I mean, do they have that anymore?
No, we
I didn't
don't.
think they did.
No.
So this will be really good for Linden.
Right, well, it's not just for Linden. Again, it's for the city of Fenton also, and Argentine Township
Yeah.
and Fenton Township.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's not just for Linden, it's for
No.
all 4 of them together.
Well, Linden
so.
Happening, all of us came, you know, all
okay.
people from all around. So this will be very nice, Beverly.
Yep. So,
Is there any questions from any of the board members?
or suggestions.
No, just one. You talked about it's going to be free for all of the residents, well, whatever.
Yes.
You're going to advertise, you're going to market it. Are you, since it might not qualify for PSAs, I mean, it says to you in here that you're looking for sponsorships. So I just want to
yes.
give you an opportunity to talk about what are those sponsorships, so if anybody's listening or watching.
Well, what we're doing right now, again, this is just kind of like starting to really take off on us. We are looking for sponsors for some of our different people that we have. For instance, I need a sponsor for my DJ. I have with the 2 bounce houses. He has offered one, but I do have to pay, $125 for the other one. Caratel is going to be offering up the hot dogs in a tent. So I do need to get, the chips in the water and all that kind of stuff. We just need money to get the project up and going and start to, pay for some of the advertising. As far as whoever donates and sponsors up, their name will definitely be put out on flyers and on the boards at the event and, that type of stuff. But we haven't quite gotten that whole part down. I have a budget, I'm thinking of $5,000, but actually I'm thinking kind of high on that. Linda over at the Genesis Credit Union, I was hooked up with her, and she's being very, very generous. She's doing a lot of our advertising. She's a great help to us right now. She's actually, the flyer you see there, she had somebody, not the green one, the other one that was sent in your packets. She had somebody from her business design that flyer for me. And she says, how many copies you need? And I said, well, I like to start out with like 2,000. And she's like, well, once we get it done, I'll get them for you. She's very, if you need help with we're going to have people there. It's not, I forgot to say this, we're going to have people there face painting. I said, I'd like to get face painters. She's like, I got them. She's like, if you help me with a petting zoo. She's like, I got it for you. No problem, no problem. So I don't want to put it all on her, of course, but I would like to, get some sponsorships from some different places. And the places I have visited already, they have, said that they would be donating $100, $200, or, whatever
So
their
you're
case
looking for
may
both
be.
in-kind and cash
Yes,
contributions, right?
yes. So,
Turn this off. I'll give you your first 250.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there any other questions from anybody in the audience?
Yes, sir.
If not,
Just thinking, I mean, I've done my past career, I've done several of these too, and maybe a big draw is helicopters.
Helicopters.
I mean,
Okay.
you can get maybe call Survival Flight, or you can, Saginaw both has, Saginaw, St. Mary's and Covenant both have helicopters. And U of M, Ann Arbor, they have a base in Heartland, and a lot of times they'll send one of their birds up here for PR, and that definitely draws
Wow.
people
Wow.
specifically to get there.
Do you know where I could get a hold of? I wouldn't have a clue as to where to get a hold of anybody like that. Do you
You
know?
can just go on the U of M Survival Flight, and there'll be a contact information at the bottom.
Okay. U of M survival flight,
Sure.
you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if
Perfect.
you're unable to get any of those, I mean, like I said, both Saginaw hospitals have helicopter transports too, so I mean,
That's a wonderful
Yeah.
idea.
draw.
Thank you. That's a very good idea. I never thought about that.
Very
so.
PR driven.
Yes.
They go all over doing it.
There you go.
anything else? Well, thank you, Beverly.
Well, thank
very
you.
much.
So you guys will participate with us then? I can leave your name on my flyer?
Oh, yeah.
Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Hope it's warm.
It will be. That's not a problem.
August 1st?
You want it? All right, I need a motion that we're going to help support this.
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a
Support.
second? Roll call, please. Thanks, Jay.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Included in the packet are the minutes for April the 3rd, regular meeting, and February the 13th, special meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? The meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the expenditures that are in front of you? We have quite a few.
I have one.
Okay,
Under that Murphy Electrical Service Inc., it says it's obviously under the bond for the improvements we're making to the
Yes,
sewer
yes.
station. Is that just one generator there at the $74,000?
It could be more than one.
no, it should be more than that, but I believe it's more than just the generator, Sean.
Generator and auto something, I just
Yeah.
cut off, so I'm trying to find it on my itemized list there. I'm not doing a very good job of it, so.
Okay. It's 3 generators, just for equipment only at this point. So it's partial billing for 3 generators. So I think they're more like 30-something each.
Mhm.
40. But That's
25.
3 different pump station locations.
Are these new pump station locations, or are these replacing?
These are adding permanent generators to
To 3.
existing pump stations that have been determined to need
Awesome.
permanent generators.
Great,
Mhm.
great.
Are there any other questions regarding any of these invoices? If not, motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $528,101.66 for payment. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearings, none. Reports. This is our Fire Chief, Ryan Bowles. He's going to be giving his report on the first quarter of this year.
I don't want to go in the dunk tank.
That depends how fast you are up there.
For the first quarter, Fenton Township, we've had 8 fires, 127 EMS calls, 4 hazardous conditions, 7 service calls, 14 good intent calls, 14 false alarms, and 1 weather incident. And out of that 175, we ran 17 in Tyrone Township. We had 2 fires, 11 EMS calls, 2 hazardous conditions, and 2 good intent calls.
For Tyrone Township, hazardous conditions, would it be something due to the expressway?
It could be anywhere from a tree to a power line down, anything but a fire,
Okay.
which those would fall under the 100 series.
And same with Fenton Township.
Yep.
Is there any questions from the board for the chief? If not, is there any other reports to be made from the fire committee or anything? If not, Ryan, thank you. That was a short report.
Have a good night.
Communications. In your package, you have Household Hazardous Waste Collection Recycle Day. That day is on May 13th. It's Saturday, from 10 to 2. It's going to be at Davison High School in Court Street in Flint, the water service. There'll be a flyer at the front desk upstairs in the main lobby. And it just says the different things that they will accept oil-based paint and solvents, aerosol, corrosive acid bases, pesticides, herbicides, oxidized automotive fluids, mercury, fluorescent bulbs, electronics, all kinds, old prescriptions. Sometimes the sheriff department, Mark, takes on the prescription of old medicines.
Yes, they do that all the time. You can
So
always-
if
you can
anybody
always
did
bring
right now,
prescription
like
drugs.
present time, okay.
Yeah.
Fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, tires, on the rim, appliances, air conditioners, propane cylinders, up to 30 pounds each, batteries, household and auto. So then it's the ones that are unacceptable items. This will be posted in the lobby upstairs. All right, adoption of ordinances, none. Unfinished business. This is of the tax reverted properties. You should have a packet in you do, all right. To give you an update, we're going to have to figure out price-wise what we want to do. Do we want to take the SEV that the assessor gives us per piece of property and double it? Do we want to do a realtor? Do we want to try the township just selling, different properties? Sean had mentioned something about signs. We've got 10 signs made up, Sean. And I don't know how many properties are there, Tom?
Well, the ones in Fenton Orchard, even though it's 16 parcels, it's actually 4 locations because they're 4 units.
All right.
There's a couple that we aren't really ready to sell because of some issues with the property itself. Other than that, and there's a couple that it's more a matter of maybe offering it to an adjacent property owner because they're landlocked. But as far as truly marketable, I'd say 5, 6, 7, maybe 7, not counting the.
Okay, so right now we have enough signs. I'd like to be able to get permission from get with the assessor, have her give us a value of what she thinks. I would like the township to try to sell it themselves. There's different pieces out there that people have approached us, but we don't know what we want to sell it for. And I think we should get going on it and put at least a limit of within 2 weeks, we're going to put those signs out and see if we can sell it. Piece of property on Fenton Road by Dollar Lake. That's a prime piece of property. We'll be mowing that and cleaning that up. Frank's Tavern property, that one's going to be difficult because I'd like to split it up a little bit. You know how the road goes down the hill and the bus turns? There's people that would want that because they have no parking. We need to definitely look into that. The oil company on Thompson Road, I've had 2 approaches on that. So all you got to do is just talk about them and they'll start questioning it. Thompson Road is going to be a big demand, and that'll be started this is April, May, around 1st of June probably, the 3 lanes. But you have the list. I welcome you to go check out the different pieces of property. And there's one out on Linden Road by Thompson Road, a nice piece of property, and we do maintain it because it's between 2 residential pieces. I think somebody would be interested if we put a sign on that. But you can tell me, you can look at it, go see the different locations and which ones you'd want to put the signs up, or if you want me to order more signs. I gave Tom a name of a gentleman that makes the post, and he works for all the realtors, and he will put them in for us and take them down. So we should have brought a sign down. It's nice looking, very nice looking. Is there any questions in regards to that?
Can I?
Mm-hmm.
You have a couple issues here. First, your assessor really isn't the person that ought to be determining the value. And so at a minimum, banks use what they call BOPs. excuse me, broker opinion. So you need to get somebody that's in the marketplace to give you
Okay.
some real values. I mean, because you're obligated, you have these properties, you're obligated to be fair to the township residents, not just to whoever's gonna buy it. Then, once you get a value, so you know what it's worth. I mean, somebody may come in and be the only person that offers to buy it, and it's a lowball price or whatever, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is you have to decide, are you going to protect brokers? So if a broker comes in and says, I have a buyer that wants to buy it, and you see these signs that say broker protected, that means the broker will get their commission if they come in with somebody to buy it. So you need to decide what you want to do about that. And as far as like, I mean, if you go to split up properties, I mean, that was mentioned, you have the same obligations as everybody else in the world. I mean, so just because it's the township-owned
No,
property.
we have to do it the right way.
You have to go through all that process,
Absolutely.
and that's not gonna be very easy to do, I would think, because you're gonna have all these other adjacent property owners agree to have it attached to their properties. I mean, it could be done, but you have to follow the same rules that the world does.
Mhm.
So before you go too far, and, you know, like, the board as an entity has to decide where you're gonna put the signs, what are you gonna do? So the first step is you have to decide what the numbers are
Yes.
and what parcels. And again, normally assessors are not the people to decide that. And there's already some discrepancies here. You have, you know, the assessor saying one set of values, you know, like here's the true cash value that doesn't match up to the suggested sale price. That shouldn't be.
No, not at all.
So, that's my 2 cents. Before you go any
Okay.
further, you ought to find out really what these properties are worth with somebody that's out there in the real world. And I'm not, you know, degrading the
think-
assessor, but they have a different function in this whole process.
I'll give you my 4 cents. I understand, Sean, we talked about we want to do it as cheap as possible and move the property as quickly as possible. But commercial and residential moves in 2 different ways. When I go to buy commercial real estate, I find someone, a broker, to go out and look for it. So you're going to find that I'm going to be contacting a Wynn Cooper and saying, I want to find space in XYZ territory. So there is going to be brokers involved because I'm not going out and looking for commercial
No.
space myself. So we have to decide on that. I think we need someone that can handle the real estate for us. I know that everybody's probably reluctant to pay a certain percentage, and I was going to ask you what other townships do, but to me, what we could probably negotiate with a realtor on both the commercial and the residential side is going to be a lot cheaper for this township in the long run because, number one, we worry about an arm's length transaction. A real estate agent is probably in a better position than we are to tell us what he thinks it's worth, or find someone that can tell us what it's worth through appraisals or whatever. We have no outside expense, none whatsoever. We don't produce signs, we don't do anything. They go out, they market it, they put a sign on it, they do everything. We pay them for it. But again, I think it removes and insulates the township in many ways, legal ways, everything else. They handle the transaction, they do the closing, they do all of that. Yes, we pay something for it, but I don't think we should be in the business of selling real estate, and it really scares me
We could do that with a
to.
realtor anyway, because they can target specific audiences for that particular parcel.
Absolutely.
And you, usually it's 6% the real estate transaction
Yes.
fee.
10% on commercial.
10% on
Okay,
commercial.
all right, but, you know, that
We don't have much
6% for
commercial.
residential, and I think you could, man, I think you probably get over and above that instead of just marketing it yourself anyway.
Absolutely. I just think we shouldn't be in the.
That's a
totally
smarter
agree
business
with Dennis.
decision. Most people, you know, the for sale by owner properties usually
They
don't
don't
sell
sell.
that good. I mean, I have a broker's license, which I don't do anything with, but just talking to brokers all the time and doing a bunch of
Oh,
real
yeah, they
estate
get it all
stuff,
done.
brokers generally are in a better position. Otherwise, you're gonna have people coming here to the township, asking questions that we're not gonna be readily able to answer.
Who's the point person?
Right.
Who's going to follow the transaction through? We're still going to have to hire legally you to finish the transaction, or we can, have someone to do it for us. So to me, my recommendation would be to this board is to find someone, and I'm sure if we went out and bid it out, like you
I
said,
was gonna
6%
say,
or
we're gonna have to
10%,
bid
we
it
could
out.
bid that out.
Yeah.
And there's people that really know this township, that work in this township, that know properties, they know these developments. I mean, a sign. Let's say one of these signs, I went and looked at 2 of these properties, they're back in a subdivision. The only person that's gonna be driving back in that, where there's 4 empty lots back there, is somebody out for a Saturday cruise, because there's nothing out there but a field. So we can put as many signs as we want, but let a real estate person go out there and do their job.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
gonna have it
I
up on the
agree.
internet, they're gonna do all of that sort of stuff. So to me, I understand trying to save money, but I think in the long run, it's gonna cost us a lot more money.
It was just that at one time, we said, well, we could get signs and put out. But I mean, an extra sign, it's not gonna hurt anybody. But we are not in the real estate business. We need a professional to do it and get it done. And we get more and more property all the time.
That's what, they only get paid if they sell it. So
Yeah.
to me, they're motivated. We're not motivated. We're sitting on it anyway.
We
So
don't
let's
need-
just
we don't
remove
need that.
ourselves from it and hire someone to do it.
So we could
And-
do a bid and get it out there.
Just have people, that are
Come in
interested
and
in,
bid.
can make 3 or 4 phone calls to people that know or whatever and put something out there in the paper.
Tom, we could put you in charge of that. Yeah, because we should sell them. It's a waste of time not selling them. All right, that's what we'll do.
Do we need a motion?
One thing we might want to consider is separating the sales function from the valuation function. I don't want to offend any realtors, but I've had a lot of experience over 30-odd years, and there's
Sure.
a tendency that the price is whatever I can find a buyer for. So if it doesn't move at a price X, then there's pressure to move it down to a lower number because, as you pointed out, they are paid only by closings. They're paid by commissions at closings. So there's a pressure to close quickly, and I'm not saying you got to squeeze every dollar out of them, but if we just find somebody, and there are half a dozen people that are probably very active in this market that could sit down and give us a list of what they think these are worth. Now, we've done the hard part. The hard part is the oil change station. We've got an appraisal on that.
Yes, we do.
We're done with that.
And the
that's,
lot.
and that's not gospel either, but that's a pretty good indicator of what value is. The rest of these, I think we ought to have an idea of what the value is so that we can react to the sales activity. And if we want to take a stab at some of the prime pieces and move them without having to pay a commission, that's an option too. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing sort of thing. And I'm not necessarily trying to get us into the real estate business, but the last time we did this, we sold them. I drafted the contracts, and we pulled in $350,000 doing it.
Absolutely.
And it didn't
Quick.
cost us a
Really
thing.
quick.
Are we gonna vote as a board as to which parcels we should sell or not? Or which
Well, I think
ones will
don't we want to
actively
sell them all? I
win?
mean,
Yeah.
everything's for sale,
No.
I think.
Huh, you don't?
No, I've told you that.
You don't want to sell the oil yet?
The oil's fine. The oil can stand on its own. It's been there. and
Okay.
They don't need the adjacent parcel for that. I'm just telling you guys, you guys all know my stance on it. It's gonna be a 3-lane road pretty soon. That is a vacant piece of commercial property
Yes.
on Thompson Road. There's potential that we could get water on Thompson Road. That would be a prime spot for a water
I agree
storage
with you on that
facility.
one.
I just, it doesn't hurt us to hold on to it.
I
It's a
agree.
vacant piece of lot.
The problem is if we
Property.
never develop it, we can never sell
Well, you're right,
it.
but.
Unless we sell it
don't
for
need
what we
to
took
connect
it back for. Bob, am I correct in this? What we take it back for, what we bought it for?
Oh, there's, each of those parcels, there's an
Yeah,
issue.
one of them
we got back, we can
With
sell
the oil
with,
change place, we can make whatever we want. I was under the
But the vacant
understanding-
piece
but
of
the
lot, we can
vacant
only get it for
lot-
what we got it
So
back
if you
for.
don't mix it with the other, you know.
is
Yeah,
that the
but
way
you
or is it the
wanna
other way
mix
around
them.
town?
You want the lineal
the correct
feet
way.
of commercial
We bought the
on
vacant
the
one
main
for
road.
back taxes, so that one has limitations.
Yeah.
The other one was reverted to us by default. There are no limitations.
Okay, so the buildings we can sell without worrying about
It's
it.
the other one.
It's
Yeah.
the other one.
And building's
And that's the
ready
one
to
you're
go.
suggesting.
I'm just saying, think about it, if, this is supposed to take, and I understand new master plan and the development's coming eventually, Dollar General's supposed to be here someday, and the road expansion's gonna be here someday. If someday we do need what we're going to need a place to put it, right now we have one, and it's not costing us another penny to keep it,
Absolutely.
but it may cost us a pretty penny to get another piece.
I just don't know, number one, we should ask Al and to research, Mr. Lawrence, to research if it's large enough even to
For
facilitate.
a water tower?
treatment. Well, tower you could put on there, but if you're gonna have to treat it, ship it over, store it, and I don't know how, if you pump
For
it up
some
first,
reason,
then
I
you
think
ship it
it's
out and
not.
treat it, I don't know which
For a
way it
tower,
goes.
I think it would.
I don't think the depth is there.
Well,
But we can find out, because he did work on that to figure it out. Yeah,
So,
That's my only issue with that one piece, that's all.
sure.
The location of that, what potentially it could be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, God quit making land a long time ago.
Well, and
Yeah.
realize before anything gets authorized to be sold, that does have to come back in front of everybody. Okay.
And I vote no.
Okay, well, and I'm just saying, you know, it isn't gonna happen, you know, whether you, maybe you just
I
pull
know,
that one out.
I was just
Yeah.
reiterating my point that I've had for a while.
And I've always agreed with you on that.
Keep
I
it all
agree.
fresh.
We've held it this long,
I
and
concur.
we can see it's coming. Go
John,
ahead.
I wasn't inferring that we would not set our own prices, just like I do on a commercial building. If I sell one, I tell, you know, Cooper what to sell it for. But again, I still think that it would be better for the township. And again, you can, if you want to take a piece out and sell it ourselves, because we got 5 offers on it, I understand, but I
Yeah.
don't like to see the
There you
township
go.
in
Yeah, and I
selling
wasn't
commercial
suggesting
or real estate.
And I wasn't suggesting we don't listen to the professional help either. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is I think it would behoove us to have an independent idea what we think the value is before we start doing it. If you look at it, a whole bunch of these are very nearly identical pieces in adjoining subdivisions. We just need to find out what a lot is worth in that subdivision, and half the list has gone away. You know, that's not that difficult. The most difficult piece we've already got appraised. So there's a handful of other pieces in here, but I think we should find somebody in the township that there's probably half a dozen of them that we could say, hey, these know what the action is. I've got an idea. I don't want to, you know, but I don't want to throw that out there. I don't know enough to say that I know what the value is. I know more than a lot of people know, but I know you're not going to get $26,000 for building lots right now. That just
No way.
$26,000 for what?
A building
Building
lot.
an empty building
Oh,
lot.
no.
I'm just, you're not. I mean,
Uh-uh.
it just isn't going to happen.
It's
so,
not gonna happen.
for the condo lots, for the
Yeah.
attached condo lots,
Yeah.
not for the attached condo lots. but-
Yeah. I was,
What did it cost us for the lots that we acquired that we sold for $350,000?
nothing.
Thank you.
See, so that's,
Yeah, we
So
made
like
it's a
Jack
good
said, you know, I don't think we need to do the bottom of the barrel, but I mean, you know,
Cash.
benefit burden.
all right, do we wanna get started then and get a motion to get it out for a bid by brokers to come in and start on it? We gotta figure out somehow, let the brokers bid on it?
I would think John's idea of getting somebody to evaluate the properties first.
And your broker is not gonna do that for you?
Be a broker.
That'd be a broker, yeah.
I mean, Wynn's going to tell me what the property's worth. I mean, he can only sell it for what he can
He's-
get it for it. I mean, whether it's John Wentworth or whoever it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a land's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. So,
Sure.
I mean, somebody that understands real estate will be able to help us. And again,
And then
you say
now
that
we also-
they're motivated to sell it, but so are we in the sense that I don't think they're going to go out there and sell something for $5,000 that's worth 15.
John, were you thinking
No.
of somebody other than a real estate, you said there's 6
no,
people.
No, I'm thinking a broker, but I'm thinking of separating the valuation function from the selling function.
Yeah,
You know,
Real
and I mean, just as a starting point. I'm just saying, I think we ought to know what it is, what we think the range is, what it's worth before we start listing it with somebody. Because the truth of the matter is, you know,
I understand what you're saying, but who are you suggesting is other than,
a broker or an appraiser, someone that we can sit down. I would not pay for appraisals on all these, let me be clear about that. The only one that makes sense for, in my mind, is the oil change facility.
Yeah.
We've done that.
and we've already got
You know,
that.
we either get a BPO or we pay an appraiser to give us the equivalent of what they call the BPO. The appraisers will do that as well. So you look at the list and 2/3 of the list goes away just by determining what empty lots are worth in a particular subdivision. That's not hard,
No,
you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be opposed to paying them just by the hour, you know, know, whatever it is, $250 or, you know, whatever it is to give me a range, because nobody
That would
really
help
knows
us.
what it's worth till somebody shows up with money. And because you sort out the ones that we either don't have a appraisal on or aren't these subdivision lots, there's not a whole lot here to try and come up with numbers with. So then when we're talking to whoever, you know, if the board is in agreement, we're gonna pay somebody a commission to sell these. I still think it might be smart to look at a few of them. A few of these I think we could sell ourselves, but
Well,
if we don't
I
want to.
agree with you.
know,
I just, here's just a simple thought. I'm agreement with John that I think there's a few we should pull out. I mean, mine is Thompson Road because 10% of $300,000 is what it was appraised for. Wasn't it appraised for $300,000 last time we did? And that was what, a year and a half ago?
Right.
Probably, yeah.
And as soon as that curb goes in for that third lane, I would assume it's gonna only, my opinion,
It's gonna double.
it's gonna go up. Okay, so you get to 400,000, let's just, and I don't know if that's what it's worth or not, now you're $40,000, you've just paid somebody to do it. We've had people interested in it, haven't we, Tom? Several people?
Oh,
We've
you mean the
told them
oil?
hold- We've
Yeah.
told them to hold off because we think it's gonna be worth
Yeah.
more. So I would, if we were gonna put one on the list that we were gonna try to take care of ourselves, I would.
No, I
I
think,
know it's more
I think
complex,
we're
I know
right in
commercial real
getting
estate deal is
a
more
broker.
complex, but that's all
But
I
how
know.
are we going to,
Trust me, I can sell it.
do you put it in the paper advertising, or do you get it out to the real estate companies? How do we get it out to the real estate company or the broker that we're interested for them to come in and give us?
When we do that, well, it'd be an RFP for services,
Okay,
you know, and
Tell 'em what we
have
can
them
do.
compete, you know, for what the commission will be. They're gonna have, they wanna know what the list of the inventory is, so
so we need to get
we'll
a
have to
spec.
decide what
on
we're gonna pull out and what we're not gonna pull out.
John, would you be comfortable during the RFP process of saying to a realtor what you're gonna charge us, and then what do you think the properties are worth? So we can look at someone that says, here's 4%, and this, he thinks the property's worth 20, he's willing to list it for 20.
Right.
Or this one says, I want 5%, and I'm gonna list it for 10. So to me, we're not writing any checks out of the township, you know, wallet right now. Let the real estate people work for us
Yes.
during the RFP process and say, we want your percentage and what you feel that, here's the list of lots, tell us what you think you can sell them for and come back. And then I think we'll have at least a good start of where we can start to look at what the value of these. If everybody comes in at 10 to 12,000, we know that's pretty much where it's at. But if we got somebody coming in at 30 and somebody coming in at 10, then
Yeah,
we
there's a
may-
big difference. Jack, how do you go about it? How would we go about this then?
That's the way you could do it. I mean, just advertise the request for the proposals, and you're gonna
Okay.
get two different figures for residential and commercial. And that's not a bad idea, having them, what would you sell the property for and what's your commission?
Yeah, that's all we need to know.
and we can, as a board, we can sit in a simple meeting and look at them and make a very quick decision on who we would like to go with.
If that's the case, can we also put in there that they're not eligible to buy it? The ones that are giving us
Oh,
the
there's
price
something,
value?
you're right.
I mean,
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a smart move.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, well, I think we should probably up front. None of us are gonna be buying, and nobody involved in the process is gonna be buying. I think that's just.
You're right.
I thought you and I were gonna start changing oil, John.
I'm thinking.
All right, so do we need a
And he
motion?
gave me 3 free coupons for oil.
Quiet, Jack, quiet. Everybody's
He's
gonna
already
want,
printing 'em.
everybody's gonna want those.
All right, would you like to make a motion, John, in regards to that? And in regards to the broker that we're gonna advertise?
All right, well, let's see, we'll move that we submit a request for proposals from real estate professionals and appraisal professionals for valuation of township-owned properties, including the commission that they would charge for the eventual sale of those properties if they were selected to be the selling agent of the township.
Support.
Any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
pardon me, Lorraine,
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes.
All right. The next thing on the agenda is going to be resolution number 2017-07, medical marijuana facilities. It's in your packet, and there is a resolution. Have you all read it to see if you want to go through a resolution like that? Tom, can you explain to board members why we would be putting it into a resolution?
Well, if you've had a chance to read the memo and also the Q&A from the MTA, the Medical Marijuana Facilities Act will actually go into effect. The law went into effect in December, but it isn't implemented until this December. And so our board, at some point, needs to decide whether we want to allow any of these 5 types of medical marijuana facilities, and if so, we need to adopt an ordinance to allow them. And then people who apply to the state for a license can only apply if they're located in a municipality that has adopted such an ordinance. If the board is of the opinion they do not want to locate these facilities in the township, then the resolution basically states that and gives us something to give as an answer to all we're getting inquiries, 4 or 5 of them a week, and we don't really have a solid answer to give them. So I thought at least we'd get it out on the table. If the board wants to consider them, then that's something for another meeting to talk about. But if the board is not planning to consider them, then the resolution kind of puts an end to it.
So just
For
go
now,
ahead
it's
and make the
not-
resolution.
The board can always change their mind later. But we hadn't really talked much about it. I don't know where the board stands on it. And we'd like to have a better answer for all the inquiries we're getting.
Is there any board discussion in regards to this?
There is a lot
There is a
of
lot.
discussion in the business community, in a broad sense, about this licensing opportunity, is how they will describe it. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and people that you would be surprised to hear about are looking into it. I'm not saying they're going to get into it, but I've received a number of phone calls on the act itself, people wanting to get licensed. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. That's why we're getting a lot of phone calls.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the people understand this has happened in Colorado, and not this specific thing, but there was a lot of money made in Colorado, and there are people viewing this as the ability to buy an IPO of Google or something along those lines. So that's why there's a lot of traffic on it. From the township's perspective, and the question we're asking is like, well, what would be the benefit to us?
Yeah.
And because I think my gut reaction is I don't think Fenton Township is really interested in any of these kind of facilities, but there is the potential, I think, under the legislation for some tax revenue. And that would be probably the only reason we'd want to consider it. Nobody knows what any of the numbers are going to be. You know, it's all pure speculation based on what's happened in a few other states, but it is a big number thing that's going on. And
Do you or Mr. Belzer believe we should work on and go for this resolution? Or what's your opinion? You're the attorney.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't get to vote. I probably
Well, I
have
know.
to say that, but I mean, my initial reaction when I saw it is Fenton Township is a different kind of community.
Absolutely.
And I think most of the residents that I know would forego whatever that tax revenue is, we don't even know what that number is, to keep those kind of facilities out of Fenton Township. That's
I
kind
agree.
of, that's what I would think. Now, when it happens, and it turns out that some of the places that allowed it have big tax inflow, there'll be somebody shaking a finger at you saying, why didn't you get
I'm all right
involved?
with that, though.
And, you know, it's hard to make a judgment at this stage of the game because you don't know anything. But my gut reaction was I probably would do nothing. That's probably what I would, because that's what I think the residents would want. You know, from a business perspective, what's the smartest thing to do? You know, you're not gonna know that till it's too late. You know, and that's why people are trying to get in up front. But that's just my 2 cents. I don't know if Jack's got anything he
What
wants
about you,
to
Jack?
add about it.
Well, the way the legislation is, if you do nothing, they're not allowed.
Right.
And I talked to Doug Piggott, and his thoughts on this is some mechanism to give the ladies at the phone and the front desk something to say, look, we've already decided we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And just like John, I mean, I've gotten so many calls about, you know, these medical marijuana facilities and whatnot. And maybe you make money, maybe you don't. I'm not convinced you would, but, you know, the municipality, the guys that have these licenses and do it, they'll probably make a whole bunch of money, but that's a whole nother story. There's nothing wrong with this resolution. It just reaffirms that you're not doing anything with it now. If you do nothing, they're not allowed. The resolution's just reaffirming it so the ladies at the desk and on the phone can say, we have a resolution, we're not doing it.
If we do the resolution, and if I understand what you said, then we don't allow it in Fenton Township.
Well, if you do nothing, you
If
don't
you
allow
don't,
it.
yeah.
Can we get rid of the ones we have?
You shouldn't have any because there are no legal ones.
Well,
When you say
Well, according
nothing,
to the sheriff, they can't do anything
now you're
about
talking
it.
about two different things.
Right.
Jack is talking about a dispensary. Bob is talking about a grow house.
Well, I'm
for,
looking at.
Oh.
for somebody with a medical
500
marijuana.
Caregiver.
1,500
Yeah,
plants.
caregiver.
The caregiver,
Caregiver.
where they can have 72 plants, no, that's a whole nother story.
There's nothing we can do
Okay.
about that.
My question, you know, honestly, what I think we ought to do is just tell the people at the front desk
I
to say,
agree.
what?
We don't allow it.
well,
so.
okay, we can do that
I
too.
mean, when we're saying do nothing, are you talking tabling this resolution?
Well, that's the other option. We can simply tell the people on the phones and say, we have not authorized any of these things. We don't need a resolution to do that. We just tell them at the front desk.
There you go.
We don't, we've not, the board isn't authorizing anything, they're at this point not permitted. What the resolution does take a step further is we don't see in the foreseeable future that's gonna happen. That's probably what I think, but I don't know if I need to get into that boat right now. You know, I can wait and see how things play out, and if something changes, maybe we would consider it, I don't know. I don't foresee that, but I don't know that it's necessary to do a, you know, here's where we stand when I mean, we don't even know what we're, you know, we gotta look at the act, but we have no idea what the implications of that are, because nobody does. So that would be my
just don't
inclination.
say- I mean, just
tell
say-
them at the front desk, look, we haven't authorized any of that, we don't think it's likely to
Okay.
happen in the future, but I don't think you need them.
Okay, if you're all right with that answer being given out, that's.
And that was my first reaction when I called Doug. I'm looking at this thinking like, really, you don't need this, and you're just creating something that you don't need.
Now,
I
we're
mean, they
not-
can't even apply until mid-December anyway, so there's really nothing, like you said, and I think for us to act on it right now, until we really know what, I just don't see any benefit to the township outside of, we're gonna be saying the same thing anyway.
It was a few up front that said, people were calling, and so we said, we'll bring it to you and figure out.
Tell them no.
No.
But if you guys,
Say no.
I mean, I say no.
if you guys and gal will recall, the last time we considered marijuana legislation, we had about 6 really interesting meetings after that.
Yes.
And do I not recall that half the people that were at the meeting didn't know they were at the wrong meeting?
Well, 90% of them were non-residents.
That thought they were somewhere else?
No, they were here for, they were.
No.
Oh, I gotta get in on this, let's do something, let's do something so we get.
I know what he's saying.
They
I
thought they were
understand.
somewhere
Yes,
else.
yes.
Okay.
I'm slow, Mark. Vince is a little quicker than I am, but yes, that would be a true story.
I recall that very well.
Oh, I wanna see this.
But they were happy.
Nope, they were angry.
So we're not even
They're
gonna
very
do
angry.
anything about this ordinance.
Just
We're just
table
gonna
it.
Just
table it.
table
Well,
it.
that's if
Well,
you
you don't
don't,
get-
that's
well,
if
here-
you
We have to do anything.
No action.
Just
There's
no
no
action,
action.
okay.
Well, yeah, the
All right,
resolution.
so we'll go
The
on.
resolution
into our
states,
other-
if we pass it, it is the township's policy now and in the foreseeable future not to adopt an ordinance permitting any medical marijuana licensed facilities. That's what the resolution is asking us to pass.
Yes.
That's just for saying we're not doing it.
And we don't plan on doing it for this foreseeable future. What I was saying, we just tell them we haven't done it, and then, you know, until that changes.
Yeah.
We don't need a resolution.
We don't need a
to take
resolution.
that
They can't do it
position.
anyway.
It just, the thought was it gave a more solid answer, but if we don't want to give a solid answer, that's fine.
I think that's the
We
better
table
way.
it.
So we just don't
You
act
don't
on it.
even,
Just don't act on it.
no
And-
action
And if it
on
never
it.
comes up,
That's
You're right.
table, isn't it?
I think this is
if
the better
we
way.
can't, if we
No, you don't
can't,
even need to table it. If you don't pass it, it's just dead
It's
in the water.
done, yeah.
because if we don't adopt an ordinance to allow the facilities, they're not allowed. Period.
Okay.
All right, a proposal. to develop master plan and Thompson Road corridor plan updates. Tom Broker, would you like to discuss this regards to,
In the packet is a proposal from Rural Professional Services Company, specifically from Doug Piggott, and it outlines their role in the proposed updating of our master plan and Thompson Road corridor plan, acting as facilitator and document, and also to document everything as it progresses. I know we've already had kind of an initial kickoff meeting to discuss the idea, but before we can go any further, we need to commit to the project. And the proposed cost is just a little over $34,000 to have Road do that for us.
the cost is $34,000?
34,180.
Okay. All right, I didn't see that. There it is, right, next page. Persistent master plan outline includes attendance at.
Is this something we should go to other engineering firms and have them competitively bid? I mean, this is,
Thank you.
oh,
That's my question. I mean, we only received one bid from someone that does work for the town.
Roe did the last one, and that's why, and they brought it to an update years back when we did the master
no,
plan.
this was 10, 12 years
Yeah.
ago. They
But
did
did we
the,
have other engineering firms bid this?
No, no.
They did the previous one, Vince.
We'll put it out for bids if you want to.
Well,
I-
it just covers us if they're the low or the one we choose. But I would think it would be good for us to at least have where we want to ask people, even if they don't give us a proposal. We
I
have
agree.
solicited their input or their proposal.
All right, we can do that.
And can I mention, you don't have to take the lowest bid, of course.
No.
No,
Because you may get some guy that decides he wants to be a planner and an engineer and submits a bid for,
Yeah.
$3,000, but,
But you certainly aren't saying that we shouldn't get other bids.
oh, no.
No.
No, but like with professional services, it's not always apples to apples. It might
We
be
don't always
apples
take
to
the
apples.
We do, yeah.
We don't always
Yeah.
take the lowest bid.
yeah.
But, yeah.
I would
That's a
just,
good idea, just so you get a
Roe
feel
might be
for it.
the only one to give us this type of
No.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if we don't ask, we'll never know.
Right.
You're right. All right, so that's what we will do. Again, Tom, you want to run with this one?
Yep.
Okay. How long does it take for a master plan to get all put together?
Forever.
I know it.
It takes a long time. There's, if you looked at the quote, there's a series of like 10 different meetings involved.
Yeah, there's 8 meetings included. in
Well,
the
that's just
RFP.
eight planning commission meetings, and
Yeah,
there's
just
a
the
board
planning.
meeting and a public
got this-
open house,
this
and it just takes
Thompson
time.
Road.
I
And
want
when
to
we,
say last time it was
oh, it was 6 or 8
20
months.
oh,
It was longer than that?
yeah, I want to say 18 months. Because of the meetings, if you remember, we
Yeah,
had
that's true. Yeah,
We
it
have
takes at
citizen
least
group
that long,
come in
yeah.
and say,
Bought
We had
it.
8 months worth of just planning meetings.
Yeah,
Well,
it's more than
but-
that, because you don't do them back to back. Bob's
Well,
right.
that's right,
It probably,
yeah.
probably is more like a year and a half to 2 years.
yeah,
probably.
because we had groups come down and everybody could say, I want a blank restaurant and this, or I want this store. Everybody's input was good. Then we compiled them, and the next public
We
meeting,
had meetings
we
upon meetings.
reviewed them and eliminated the ones that didn't have support. So it was at least
Long
18
time.
months.
Yeah. So we definitely got to get on it. All right, we'll do that. We'll-
And I really believe it's gonna change a lot because of what they do to Thompson.
Thompson Road.
Because initially, we only had, I wanna say, a half a dozen curb cuts on Thompson Road. And all the stores or other would be off like a little service drive
Access drive, right.
to help with traffic.
Well, there's a number of things going on right now that will affect how that
Yep.
plan is gonna turn out.
I almost think
All
we
right, tell
should
me
wait
this.
till we get Thompson Road done.
It will be done probably by the time we're done with this process.
You're more than right, but
All right, just for an example, there was a gentleman that came to the township board and wanted, here we go again, chickens on Hogan Road. And I remember the board sitting here and saying, well, they was asking for a rezoning, and you said, well, we're not going to do anything, we're going to get our master plan. We'll get working on the master plan. Okay, now, in this last month or so, another man has come requesting rezoning. And if we said no to this gentleman,
I
shouldn't...
didn't say no to that, John.
Huh? What?
I said, not that, I think our issue was we didn't have a full board.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that, but I'm not gonna use that man, but I'm just saying. Now, this is another man that's come, wants to change zoning. And if you had told, let's say not that man, another man, that you're not going to do anything about zoning until we get our master plan together, should we stop?
I think individual merits.
You
myself.
really do?
I do.
When you were talking master plan?
Well, the Hogan Road one wasn't decided upon, it didn't pass.
No,
but
I'm
it
just
wasn't
saying though,
delayed.
the planning commission can go, no matter where we rezone in that. But if you say, let's not do anything till the master plan is developed, then why are we?
All right, you're gonna make me give my master plan speech again. All right.
Okay, good.
Mark, I'm talking to you, so pay attention.
I heard you the first 3
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
Well, let's go for 4.
No, I mean, I say it facetiously, I joke about it, but seriously, if we do not follow what the master plan
That's
dictates
true.
to us, we have created ourselves liabilities in litigation, period. End of discussion. I don't care what you think about chickens or the individual applicants.
No.
If the master plan says, look, we're not planning on ag and we don't want to go there, we shouldn't be voting in favor of it,
That's right. All right.
irrespective of whether you like chickens or the person
It's
involved.
not- You're right.
I agree
but
with that.
Our current master plan has no ag in it, correct?
It does, not in the future land use map.
Correct.
And what,
Right,
what it
and-
says is that we recognize that it's not provided for because we're not looking to expand that use. Back when they told us about it, they said you needed at least 200 acres to successfully farm. There weren't enough parcels to do that.
Okay.
And it says, look, we're not here to expand it. It's in the zoning classification to allow those that are here to continue doing what they're doing. We're not gonna take it away from anybody, but we're not gonna expand it.
There you go.
So that really, when you're looking at a zoning request change, should be the end of the story. Now, everybody's got a right to come in, everybody's got a right to ask, and we've got a right to say, hey, we need to look at that master plan to see maybe that's not the way it ought to be.
So
I
if
agree
we're
with
gonna
you,
revisit the
100%.
master plan because that's not the way it ought to be, and, I mean, then why are we re-looking at it if we're not considering putting ag back in the future land
Oh, no,
use?
that's part of what you do. I mean, if urban agriculture, and you've seen it, we've all heard it.
I understand
There-
that.
There's a number of people coming in. What the process
can't
would
be
be, recognition in the master plan that, hey, urban agriculture's a thing now.
And I understand that, but I mean, how long is that gonna take?
See?
And if we're gonna revisit it and put it back in, why not look at individual merits? Instead of worrying, our whole existence shouldn't be prevention of lawsuits. What's in the best interest of the township?
But we don't know what we're gonna provide in the master plan until we're done. Okay? And that's what the zoning decision should be. When you get any zoning decision in front of you, you should look at the master plan. What are we saying that we're looking
I
to do with
get
this
it,
property?
But if our master plan, forgive me for this word, if our master plan now is flawed and we're going to revisit it, are we to still continue enforcing our flawed plan until our new one
Well,
becomes?
but you beg the question. Okay, I think it's fair to ask the question whether urban agriculture ought to be done, but we don't know the answer yet. Okay, because when I raised it at the plan commission, everybody's like, particularly when you get to animals, the horticultural part of it's pretty easy, I think everybody will agree with, but we've got stuff cooking at
That's
the
what's
planning
happening
commission
right
with
now.
animals, and at least the plan commission, they're kind of dicey about the idea. Now, have we got people coming in that are interested? Sure, we're getting bleed off from the city of Fenton. I get it, and maybe it's the right answer, but until we get there, I mean, that's like saying the speed limit on Torrey Road is too low. You know it, needs to be adjusted up. You're gonna write tickets until you change the sign.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Seeing we're discussing this, I have a very good friend that works for Michigan State University that gives seminars on urban farming. And there is an act sitting on the legislature's lap that is going to allow some of it. If the board wants, I can talk to her or get a name from her that could come in and explain not only this board, but the ZBA and the planning
think so.
commission.
I would do that.
That's fine.
And that's a quicker
I
way to
mean,
get
get
to
it-
where,
That's fine. And
Because I think the legislature's gonna take care of what we, talking about the ag part, not anything else we do on our master plan.
well, and if that happens, because we told the gentleman that you're thinking of, hey, there's legislation, we were told it was gonna
Yes.
happen last year. And if that happens, then the time that takes to do all the master plan stuff doesn't matter anymore, because then now the rule is such, from a state level, you can do A and B and C.
true.
But until that happens,
But 2 points. I'm not looking to raise the speed limit. I'm looking to lower it. Zoning back down, okay? There's no minimum as far as what you can go on a 30, you can do 10. 2, what's to stop the people that have already moved into these areas that are under our current master plan? And now we change our master plan and we put ag back in, what's to stop them from suing us then?
you can't stop anybody from suing you no matter what you do.
That's my point.
Because the flip side of that is, what about the people that bought the house, that looked and said, hey, your master plan says this can't happen, that's why I bought it.
I understand. So
you just-
when
you
we
need to-
revisit it, and if we do put some of these back in there,
Yeah.
I mean, we're opening up the other half of the potential lawsuits.
Well,
Are we?
Well, my point is, if, you know, yeah, we are, because right now, John's saying if we allow somebody to, let's use chickens, I don't have a thing for chickens, by the way, but if we have people that wanna have chickens, and the people next door don't like it, and they sue us because our original land use wasn't that, and then we change our land use to allow that, the people can now,
I understand what you're saying. Let me put it to you in a scenario that will be more clear to you. It isn't about the integrity of the process when you're looking at the master plan and saying, okay, I'm either following it or not,
Yeah.
isn't gonna come to you in the form of chickens.
I
It's gonna
understand.
come to you in the form of a marijuana distribution facility that says, look, I'm gonna go here, and you say, well, wait, our master plan doesn't allow that, or whatever, and they're gonna say, you folks don't follow your master plan. Okay, and you can put whatever undesirable thing, I could list them all off here, in your mind, and if you have not followed your master plan, when that undesirable thing comes in, if you give it because it's a little thing, or you like it, or you think it's not important, it's not gonna come back to you in that form.
but
It's gonna
isn't
come
any
back,
potential rezoning change doing that anyway?
well, no, a rezoning is a legislative process where you change it. And if you, where you're getting sued is when you're not following your master plan. I can't tell you that you won't get sued, but you'll win if you follow your master plan, okay? You might get sued either way, you might be right about that, but you win when you follow your master plan, you lose when you don't.
Okay.
And basically, if you don't follow the master plan, it's like having no plan.
Mark would probably be okay with that.
No, I get that. I understand that. I just know that we're revisiting this for this particular reason, because apparently things have changed. Our master plan is what, 30 years old?
10, 12.
10 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, just way outdated. It should be every 5.
Yeah, 10 is when they look at, and it's what, 15?
Well, you're supposed to look
I
at it
think
every
so.
5 years. You don't
Every
have to
5,
necessarily change it, but it's supposed to
Alright.
be looked
Then
at every
readopt it,
5
yeah.
years.
And
And that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying anything people haven't already known. But, you know, again, I look at every merit here. I look at every individual thing. Is it a benefit or a burden to the township? And I think this community was developed because of the ag that we've had. And I certainly would hate to just, in our, I don't know, I mean, I'm going to look at each individual merit come in here, and if I think it's in the best interest of the township, Again, I don't live my different careers. I don't sit there and look at everything through potential litigation glasses. I'm not saying you do, but that's kind of your job.
Yeah, but that's not even really the issue.
Yeah,
Well,
that is.
okay.
I mean,
then
it's,
we'll
it's kind
agree
of
to
a,
disagree.
kind of a part of it, but, you know, that,
Really, the real issue is if you don't follow this master plan and you do this, what's called spot zoning, you basically destroy the master plan, so you can't stop the next guy that comes in that wants to do a tattoo parlor or a massage parlor.
Okay,
Or
there you
the
go.
chickens, or the horses, or the
Yeah,
marijuana.
okay. Well, I'm just saying, but if we change it, aren't we opening up people that
No.
have lived, you know, came in
Because-
under the existing
No, because you're
master
supposed to
plan?
consider all that when you do this master plan, and there's always gonna be somebody that's unhappy, but the
Right.
courts have very strongly upheld properly implemented master plans. And really, your master plan is way, way out of date. And
I know that.
it may or may not be accurate, it probably isn't, but I sit here and every time one of these little zoning things come up, as John probably does, you know, we're thinking spot zoning, this is gonna be bad. And if you end up in court with a bunch of spot zoning, it's just a question of how quick do you lose? Cause you are gonna lose.
Oh,
that might surprise you, Mark, because honestly, my issue is about the correct process. When it comes to the chickens themselves, I might surprise you. I mean, we're just not there yet.
All right.
You know, we're not in a position where we can do that, and maybe we need to be. But we gotta go through the process to decide whether that's the right way to go or not. We've had people come in, they have their opinions, but as you can see, there's people on the other side of that opinion too. So just
But it
hang with
takes
this long
so
enough
long.
to, it's slow. But if Bob is right and there's legislation, because we were told that by the, end of last year, that'd be great. I mean, that takes us out of having to make, it's a hard decision. There's a lot of passion involved in these kinds of things. And
Well, if
then
I
we,
understand the
Obviously.
legislation,
yeah.
it's going to allow
Get out the chicken.
restricted farming in any
Yeah.
type of
Right.
property under the state law, and then
I think that would probably get pretty unanimous support at the planning commission. I would guess probably everybody sitting here. Plants are pretty harmless. I mean, I will tell you, it looks a little weird sometimes, but there's a guy I'm thinking of now. Sean knows who I'm talking about.
I know exactly
And
what you're talking
I'm more power to him. I mean, he's out there, but he's got he doesn't mow grass. He's got a garden.
He discs it and plows
He
it.
just plows it, so I think that's the easy part. But then you start getting, okay, there's chickens, there's potbelly pigs, there's goats, we just got done talking about buffaloes.
buffaloes, yes.
So,
So what you're
I
saying.
think that's what got me the phone call.
yeah.
What you're saying, though, it's all right if we're still going, like if a person comes residential, they want to go for agricultural, even though we are going to be working on our master plan, should we go forward with that?
You tell them,
Okay,
anybody can come in and pay the $850 and have a request.
Okay.
But I would tell them, look, we've had some of these and they've been turned down because the master plan doesn't allow it, and we're looking at that. You might want to sit on your $850 for a little while, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's their call, not ours.
Yeah.
We will evaluate whatever application they bring, but I'm just saying you got to do it with your master plan goggles in place. That's
now
all
will
I'm
you
saying.
do that at the planning commission? Do you
We do
tell them?
recommendations. The final decisions come right here.
Now,
No, but I mean, would you tell those people when they come
Well,
up
that's
in
got to
front
be
of
at the
you?
counter.
Right.
I mean,
At the counter.
you want to get them before they've spent the $850. Valerie needs to be saying to them, look, hey, I'll take this, that's great, but this is the third or the fourth or the fifth, and here's the issue, and here's what we're doing.
Got it, okay.
now the board could, and I'm not recommending anything, I'm just telling you here's an option. You could have a moratorium on any rezonings, but that's a pretty blanket thing that you don't really know what John's ideas are, nobody usually has an extra $850 they can put out there and just say, oh, this will get me a no.
Yeah,
And probably because John's in favor of chickens, I might get coupons for eggs too, along with the oil
Eggs,
change.
fresh fried chicken, and an oil change. Why you wait?
all right. Is there any other board discussion on this subject? Any? No? Okay.
During open session.
I think the word buffalo started it all. All right, so we're going to advertise for engineering companies for the master plan. Okay. Now, the next one is a proposed amendment to the 2017 Fenton Township budget operation. Manager Tom Broker, will you please review?
Yes, in the packet is proposed amendments to the general fund and fire fund budgets. Just a handful of notable changes. We have bumped up the projected revenue for the tax reverted property sales just based on some of our preliminary numbers. On the expense side in the general fund, we did not have any elections scheduled when we adopted the budget. We do now have a special next month, so that's added to the budget. We've increased the planning expense for the master plan update. We've added a little bit to road improvement expense, but the net impact on the general fund is zero, still projecting a balanced budget. In the fire fund, the only real changes, there were some equipment, the Jaws of Life, the extrication equipment that was budgeted last year but ended up being purchased this year, so we didn't spend it last year, so we're bumping up the budget this year to account for it. And then they're proposing to replace 2 squad trucks and a utility truck, offset by the sale or trade-in of existing vehicles, leaving them with a projected fund balance at the end of the year of approximately $150,000.
Might I ask what this election is going to cost the township?
Well, what do I have in the budget?
I thought it was 3,000, Tom, or is it more?
Oh, it's more than that.
8?
Well, part of the budget is for equipment, which is not relative to this election. It's about, I'd say about $4,000 in total.
Okay.
That's the budget change you're talking. I'm talking about what's it going to cost us. Is it going to be just 4,000? Clerk Krug has got a
That should be about it.
It'll be close,
4 grand.
unless somebody else jumps.
4 grand.
Oh, it's too late to jump on, so. But here again, it's
Who
a
dictated that this was
one-item
going to happen?
911 board.
county commissioner.
And the county commission approved it? 'Cause I'm just not, I don't like this.
I don't either.
I've seen this more than one time. I know there's been legislation to try and push these elections to times when we actually have people that show up and vote. And I'm just, it frustrates me that this kind of thing, and I'm not taking a position on the millage, people can vote
Yeah.
whatever they want. But the idea of a single millage thing we got one item, and what do you think the turnout's gonna be, Thomas?
10%?
We might hit 12 to 13% only because we have so many permanent AVs,
Yeah.
but it won't be much higher than that.
AVs, yeah.
And the
So-
AVs will have a big effect because we have a lot of
The AVs are coming in.
residents that have in writing requested an AV ballot for any and all elections. So if it's even a one question, that process goes through. They used to be, they'd say for general or national, but
Yeah.
now it's,
What was the change? There was a legislative change, I thought, that was forcing these things. I assume
Well,
it doesn't cover
school
this.
board elections now have to be November even year.
So it's school boards.
School board. Now, school proposals can still do a special, but they have now eliminated some of the extra election dates. The only, other than a presidential primary, the only election dates that are allowed are the Tuesday after the first Monday in May,
I
August,
hate
and
that
November
when they
each
do
year.
that.
And so it limits the number of times that someone could jump on a date where there isn't anything already. But it is still out there, and schools are still taking advantage of that for their proposals, but not for school board anymore.
It frustrates me. That's all I have to say.
and if you read the law, it really confuses you. Cause it's not the first Tuesday, it's the first Tuesday following the first
First
Monday.
Monday. They do that on everything. Drives
I bet you a lawyer did that, right?
Well, I was
Needed a
thinking
job.
that, John, but
That's like our paycheck. All right. Is there any more discussion in
One
regards?
item, ma'am.
Pardon me?
One item.
One item? Okay.
Yeah, Leering Road is closed
Well,
now.
Larry
we
Road
gotta
is,
do the budget.
Well, we-
Budget.
we-
they're working on it
need to
starting
do
tonight.
the budgets.
Okay.
And, oh, I'm sorry, you're
We
right.
didn't finish it.
Um,
I distracted everybody with my
all
rant.
right, and I folded mine up. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was done in case unless there are other questions, we
That's
we
what I
still need to.
thought.
Need a
we to
motion
adopt
to
it.
approve or adopt.
Yes. A motion to adopt the amendments to the 2017 Fenton Township budget as presented.
Sean has already moved it. We're looking
Oh,
for a
okay.
second.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Sure. Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Boy.
Motion passes.
All right. Are there any other comments from the members of the board? Oh, Mr. Gopel.
Marion Road is closed now for the bridge reconstruction. They got the beams.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna be installing those. It looks like, per the chief, he went down there and talked to them, that it's only closed at night,
Yes.
so during the daytime. You know, I don't know when
So
they
tomorrow
actually
morning?
take the debt.
It'll be open tomorrow
It'll
morning?
be open in
Oh,
the morning
tomorrow
for the
morning for the
buses.
school.
One way, yeah.
One way still.
Yeah.
But it looks like I don't know what's gonna happen when they actually remove the deck and then place the beams. It's probably gonna be at night too. 'cause
It's
of
gonna
this
be
amount
all
of
at
traffic.
night.
They,
Yeah.
there's a sign over there, I drove by, it's warning you that the Lane Road will be closed from 8 PM to 6 AM, I think it was.
Well, I never saw the openings time.
Yeah, I just saw the 8 PM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
This
remember.
is supposed to be just a couple of days.
Yes,
Yeah, they'll get it done pretty fast.
but it shouldn't affect school traffic
Affect
or
me going
fire
home.
traffic.
I have to go,
No,
I
thank
gotta go a
God.
different way tonight, and I'll forget, I'll guarantee you I'll get down there.
Oh, no. It's after 9. All right. Any other
Go right
comments?
and check the trailer park on the way.
Yeah.
Take a shortcut, yeah?
Might as well.
All right, I will open it up to the public on agenda and non-agenda items. Mr. Clement, would you like to come to the podium?
Thank you.
That's a good resident to sit through.
My name is Rick Clement, and I'm here to talk about the water level in the lake. We got back from vacation and came in, and we have a place on the island. And I drove around the lake and was dismayed to see how high the water is. And seeing that, I remember a few years ago in Indiana, northern Indiana, we have relatives there. There was a lake that had high water, and the DNR in Indiana put a no wake on the whole lake for a period of time till the water receded. So I got that information from the James Lake Property Owners Association. So with that information, I said, well, what can we do to our lake maybe to reduce or eliminate or take care of some of the erosion issues that we're definitely going to have. So I called DNR here in Michigan, talked to Lieutenant Don Wanless in DNR in Lansing, and he told me basically there's nothing we can do regarding trying to limit the wake on the lake at this point. He says all you can do is just kind of observe what's going on the lake as far as people with wakes and everything, and 100-foot rule from the docks and other boats and so forth. So really, there's not really much you can do. You can take pictures or video if you want of some people you think might abuse, but that's not going to go anywhere. So I guess what I'd like to address the board is there anything you can do to help us with the Drain Commission and so forth? And I actually went out today to look at the weirs. And the weirs over on Torrey Road, there's a 18 inches, the lip is down here and the water is 18 inches over it. On the other side of Torrey Road, there's about 3 inches of freeboard on the culvert. So that means really the swamp is damn near full. I went over to Cranewood, and that had about a 19-inch. Yeah, that's a lot of opportunity for water to leave, but there's no place for it to go. Down there, it goes into that golden pond or whatever they call it, and the water level is down near even. Now, there is some water going through both of them, and it would behoove the board or someone to address the drain commission or the county drain commissioner to get out there and do something. And prior to coming here tonight, I was watching Channel 12, and they had a special on there, and they claim that the drain commission is going to send a group out there to do something to the weirs, tomorrow to clean them out. But again, if the water is so high on both sides, I don't know what the heck they're going to do. But at least we should see what the drain commission can do downstream from the exit points. I understand that if you go on Golden Pond to the south, that there's some areas where there's damming by beavers possibly. Maybe they could try to open that up or something. But we gotta do something because once the boat traffic gets out there putting the wakes out, there's gonna be erosion on properties that never had it before. And I've talked to some of the people from the island. They've had family out there for 60, 70 years, and never in their entire lifetime have they ever seen the water this high. A lot of people say it's been high like this 25, 30 years ago, but that's not true. This is the highest water ever, and we got a problem. On the front of the south side of the island, there's actually decks that are where people would sit down by the water. There's 4 inches of water over the top right now. And you go down by the public landing to the east a little bit, there's that property, that Jenkins property. The water is right over the seawall, right up to his garage and so forth. And if we do, I don't know what we can accomplish, but at least encourage the Drain Commission to try to do something, take some steps to get that water away from this lake. And I don't know if this is the only lake in the township with a problem, but it's a mess out there right now. There's people who can't even put their docks in. We're gonna put our pontoon in. We have a place on Casuego which we'll put our dock in, but we have some damage from the high water there also on the seawall. But a friend of mine has a place on Hidden Lake, and she can't even get her pontoon in because the dock is underwater. You can't have anything to tie to. So
They can't
whatever the
get their
board can do to help would be appreciated, and I think every property along the lake, on Lake Fenton, would welcome it. So thank you for your time, and maybe I'm wasting your time, but it's a very big concern of mine.
We
And
have, on a
thank you.
daily basis, we do talk to the Drain Commission, and they email us and give us progress in regards to what's happening. Tom, he had, is his name Tom Smith?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. Tom Jones came into Tom's office today and from the Drain
It's
Commission.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, okay.
Yeah, and they have cleared some obstructions from the outlets. They felt that the way it was flowing Thursday, within a week, it might be down 6 inches from the high point. But they said, even in the best case, it's gonna take a few weeks before it normalizes.
Well, I understand that, but has anyone from the board heard anything about this Channel 12 news saying they're gonna be out there tomorrow to do something? Maybe Bonnie?
I haven't.
No, I
No?
haven't.
But anyway.
Somebody told me the Channel 12 today was out on Crane Road. Did you see it? In regards to what, the culvert?
They were taking pictures of the culvert that comes into Golden Pond. I live on Golden Pond, and right now, if you drive up, you're gonna say, where's your dock at? And I'm gonna tell you, it's about 18 inches underwater. I mean, it's higher than I've seen it in the 40-plus years I've lived there. So it's, the whole system seems to be backlogged. I'm surprised we're not having problems at Panema and the Shiawassee.
It's high. I don't know that it is the highest I've ever seen it, but I think it's high everywhere. I mean, we've had a lot of rain. I think the soil is saturated, so there's no place to go.
But
Pointed out,
over,
the swamps are full.
right, over on Wynwood over there, Wynwood Parkway, if you go around by the Sarah property, you gotta go through water about this deep just to get down that road. It's
12
unbelievable.
inches over the road.
Yep. But anyway, thank you for your time, and whatever you can do to help would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Red. Is there anyone else or any other discussion from the board? If not, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, but I would like to go into recess for the regular meeting, and the time right now is 9 o'clock for the purpose of going into executive session to discuss employment contract
Well,
negotiation.
you need a motion and a vote to go into executive session.
Okay?
Night, Hannah.
So
All right. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call.
Lorraine,
Here.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler. Yes. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker. We are in closed session.
Closed session.